Okay, we are here at the Coken Woodford Glen Speedway for the 2021 Modified Championship. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I'm Vince, and it's a beautiful sunny day here. We have 30 of the best modified drivers here that are ready to race for the New Zealand title. And it's going to be absolutely epic. What do you reckon, Aaron?
Yeah, mate, we have been waiting for this. Obviously, the event was moved from in February down here to March. Everyone has still made it. 30 cars to go out on the track and entertain you guys over the next couple of nights. It's going to be amazing.
It sure is. And first of all, we would like to thank Jason Gutteridge and the team from Pits TV for having us. It's great to be able to team up and bring you this show.
Finals of the Garage 16 at New Zealand Modified Champs, Aaron.
The dream is realised.
Yeah, mate, our family's been trying to secure this one for 30 odd years, you know, so for a second generation to drive it to get it is just unbelievable. As they all say, it hasn't hit yet, and it really hasn't. It's all still a bit of a blur, but I'm sure we'll have a few beers tonight. It'll hit at some stage, and I'm sure we'll drink some more after that. Yeah, we struggle with this car to start off with, but man, is it a rocket ship now, man. It proved it tonight. Man, I just can't thank everybody enough that makes us go round and round, because, man, I love doing it.
Well, hard fought, well deserved. Congratulations, Brad Lane. 1NZ.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, buddy.
I'm 1NZ, baby. Woo!
Okay, we're here with the 1NZ Brad Lane. It's finally here, mate. So we almost got here last February. Then that damn COVID snuck in, put everything off. How's the nerves been waiting for this to happen?
Oh, I've been pretty good, really. Don't get too nervous going into a meeting anymore, but obviously like a big meeting like today is, once you get here, it's sort of like, oh, okay, got to get the job done, you know. So, but once we all get out there and give it some gas, you know, it all sort of goes away and you head down looking into what's ahead, you know.
Yep, absolutely. So you came down to Wellington last year and obviously cracked it with the title. And how does that add pressure for a driver coming into this year? Because I know you're very much a driver that's about having fun and getting out there and being involved in Speedway like you guys all are. But you must feel a little bit of pressure as you kind of get through things and you get on with the season, because you work pretty hard on this thing.
Yeah, obviously the start of this season we sort of struggled a little bit, and that sort of frustrates you, and then you sort of work around it and try and figure out what's going on and the rest of it, and then you start getting there, and you know, then you start performing again, and obviously it makes it a bit easier. But I think more than anything we probably put pressure on ourselves to do well any meeting, but then now you got a number on the car, it's sort of a little bit more, but we're just going to try and do a bit more laid back approach today and see how that gets on, because yeah, I never really thought that there would be much pressure, but it doesn't get to you, but it's there, sort of thing, you know. It's hard to explain, but it's just one of those things, I guess, that comes with receiving that number, you know. So obviously we try and keep it all out the back door tonight and tomorrow and go and enjoy ourselves.
This doesn't just all happen just with Brad Lane. You've got some pretty special people involved in your team. It's a very family-orientated team. Why don't you tell the fans out there a little bit about your team and how things tick for this?
Yeah, so between ourselves at our workshop at home, between my father and grandfather and Trev, you know, we make most of the things for the car, from making radius arms to the chassis, to we even make the wings ourselves. So, you know, so between that and obviously all the crew that come up during the week and stuff and help out, you know, Brett and Nick. And obviously My mum and my fiance Jazz letting us play in the shed all the time. So and then all the sponsors, man, like Andy and Jane from Professional Door Services, they come to every meeting. They're down here. My auntie Claire, she does a bit of the merchandise and stuff. So Mum does all the videoing, so we can go back home and relay and watch what we've done and what it's done to the car and how it looks from the outside perspective, rather than just me sitting in the car. So like I say, it's a real family sport. There's 3 generations of lanes here watching and one racing tonight, but it just makes it all go round and round, and everybody does a little bit and just makes it a bit easier, so like me and Elboy aren't all stressed out all week that we can get Nick or Brett in to change some tyres or whatever, and just make it all a bit easier. But everybody does their part, and there's a lot of us here, and just the fan base is ridiculous, as well, especially with the people up on the bank and stuff, wearing our shirts and stuff. We never thought that would get that big, but you look at it now and you're still blown away going, wow,
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have got a heck of a lot of followers, and it's that dedication to the racing and the sport and what you do out there on the track that really, really makes it. So, and you've got a pretty good package here with the car. So, tell us a little bit about your car. What sort of chassis and that are you running?
Yeah, so it's a Raceworks chassis from Trev up in Huntly. The motor's built by Roger Bertram. The stuff in the car is not all that new, but it is of newer caliber than some of the old stuff. But most of it was in the car when the old man built his first Raceworks car, which was 2006. So most of it's sort of around that area, and it's all getting a bit tired now. We're trying to upgrade a few things and stuff, like we put new rear wheel centers in it this season, and it's just a good combination is all you need between the motor and everything else you got. And if you can get that power to the ground, then the car will work, and you should make places up.
So I am here with Scotty Lane. You are the father of the 1NZ Brad Lane. How does it feel?
Oh no, pretty good. Yeah, it's been a long season, and it's something that we've always sort of raced to get, and no, it's really good.
Can you talk us through the last New Zealand Champs last year? I mean, I saw you partying pretty hard that night. I mean, how did it feel when you saw your son passing the finish line to get that 1NZ for the New Zealand Champs? Can you put this into words for us?
Well, unfortunately, you can't sort of get too excited because you got your 10-minute wait until they finish the final results. So it's sort of a bit delayed, and then it's sort of like after your 10 minutes, you sort of sinks in a bit, and then you sort of realise it's probably the next day actually it was back in the shed when we had the car in the shed and it had 1NZ on it. It was probably the first time it really sunk in. So no, it's good. Yep.
Oh, I can imagine. So Scotty Lane, the Lane name has been in modified racing for quite a while because you yourself have been a bit of a modified driver too. You even got 2NZ at one stage, I think 14 years ago. If that's not, is that correct?
Brad knows all the dates and stuff, but yeah, that's probably about right.
Sweet. So can you talk us a bit through about how things were back in the day? Oh, I don't want to say back in the day because it sounds like...
I didn't have wings, so I didn't race that long ago. I know.
Oh, that's right. But how did things go with your modified career, and then how did things transition to Brad coming into the scene?
Oh, well, he sort of obviously showed interest from an early age and stuff, helping out Dad in the garage and stuff. And then when we got the mini stock, we sort of just teaching him how to drive and just all that sort of setups and stuff. And then he sort of took over and knowing more than what I knew, so it sort of went on from there. So,
but how do things work in the 1NZs in the crew and the team there? What sort of role do you play in the team?
I'm told I'm just the engine man.
First?
Yeah.
And go down to 532?
Yeah. Well, we're not really trying to find horse, to be honest.
Yeah.
We just want something that's reliable and safe, but
Yeah.
it's more torque
Talk.
thing, really. Yeah. If you can
Horsepower, pump torque, hey?
you're
Yeah.
trying to pull the thing out of the corner more than anything, not drag somebody up down into the end of the straight.
Yeah.
Aaron, it's been a hot day all day today. The sun's been beating down on that track. You know a bit more about Speedway in general than I do. What sort of effect does that have on a track? Are we going to see some good nights racing?
Yeah, so I was having a little bit of a chat to the track guys a little bit earlier, and they put a heap of water on the track last night, but the sun has been beating down. So the one thing when you're racing with this class is the condition of the track, how much moisture's in it, whether the track slicks up, because some of the drivers are really good on a slick track, but if it slicks up on the inside and has a bit of grip on the outside, some of the drivers are more competent on the outside as well. So then you throw the other factors from Woodford Glen in here. So this track is actually an egg-shaped track. So turns 1 and 2 are kind of wide and sweeping, and then they go down the back straight to turns 3 and 4. And in turns 3 and 4, it's a little bit more of a sharp bend. So it really comes down to how you set the balance up of the car, all of that sort of thing. You can either set it up for 1 and 2 or specifically for 3 and 4, or get it nicely balanced out. Then you've got the track conditions, whether it's slick, whether it's grippy. All these drivers have different techniques, different ways of setting up their cars, setting up the shocks. Yeah, and Vince, honestly, this is why this class is so exciting, because there are so many options and things that these drivers can do in terms of getting out there to win this championship. It could literally be any of the 30 drivers that we see out there tonight. Okay, we are here at the track. Actually, we are here on the track, so this is where it all takes place. We're just standing here in turns 1 and turns 2 at the moment, and what we can see, Greg Brown, the crew chief, and also the father of 3NZ, Luke Brown, he's just getting out, having a little bit of a check, and all very technical equipment. So these guys, quite often, they go around with their screwdrivers, and they're just checking to see the condition of the track, but I'm going to let an expert tell you guys a little bit more about it. Greg Brown, crew chief for the 3NZ, mate. How's the track looking?
Track looks really good. Like, the weather down here has been pretty good and stable. There's a lot of heat, but there's also been a lot of water and moisture being put into the track. So I think, well, at the end of the night, it obviously will slicken off, but with the amount of moisture in it, I think it could be a good drivey 2-lane track for a while. So there will be 2 grooves appear. There'll be guys up the top and guys down the bottom. So I think that over this 5-heat format for the weekend, we're in for a real good show.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's not a lot of, there's no other big tyre classes here tonight, but there is 6 groups of these modifieds out here racing. So as you said, might hold up for a little while, go a little bit slick later on, and I guess we all hope for a little bit of grip up top.
Oh, definitely. There'll be guys that'll run the high line, and there's guys on the bottom. So all we want is, we want everybody to enjoy themselves, do the 5 laps, then when they get into this 30 lapper, it'll be all go. So it's going to be a very interesting format and a great weekend for everybody, cars and spectators.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a team, obviously, you guys plan everything out and things like that. When it comes out to bringing the screwdriver out, sticking it in the ground, obviously you go back. Is it all a collective decision, or does the driver make the final decision in terms of how the car's set up? You just give a bit of advice. How does it work in your team?
Yeah. With our team being as small as what it is, like Luke's the operator of the car, so we go back and we analyse the track. We look at where it's hard and where it's soft, and he will decide what he wants to put on the car, what he decides to put on the car. We run with it because he's driving it.
Yep, well, that's the way. So you guys had a pretty successful season so far. So we very much thank you for your time coming out and having a look at the track, and all the best for you guys tonight.
Excellent. Thanks very much, and thanks to the crowd and everyone turning up. This is going to be an epic weekend. Thanks, guys.
I wonder, how is tonight going to work? Shall we have a look at the format for this evening and for the championships in general, and see the context in which these drivers will be battling for the New Zealand Championship? So let's go over and have a look at a brief video about the format.
There are over 30 drivers entered in the championship. The drivers are divided up into 6 groups. The groups are seeded, meaning that the best drivers are dispersed evenly throughout the groups so that no group is stacked. Each group is named after a sponsor. Group 1 is Koken. Group 2 is Anderton Decorators. Group 3 is Edge Parts and Performance. Group 4 is PG Hydraulics. Group 5 is Value Cars. And Group 6 is Recreation Hotel. Each group races each of the other groups, resulting in 15 heats in total, 5 heats per group. There are 3 heats on the first night and 2 on the second night. The drivers accumulate points over those heats. A driver will be awarded 12 points for first place, 11 points for second place, and so on until 12th place, who gets 1 point. Drivers get no points if they are unable to start or finish a race. After each group has raced 5 heats, the 16 drivers with the most points qualify for the 30-lap feature final. The driver with the most points gets to choose between grid position 1 and 2 for the final. The rest of the drivers are gridded up in order of their ranking by points. That leaves 4 available places in the final. These places will be filled by the first 2 across the finish line in each of the 2 repecharges. A repecharge is a last chance race for drivers who haven't managed to qualify for the final to do so. The first 2 across the line in each repecharge will fill the last 4 positions on the starting grid for the feature final. From there, it's simple. The first to cross the finish line after 30 laps is the latest New Zealand modified champion.
'21H, the immaculately presented car.
Beautiful
of Gary
looking car.
Parker.
Yeah.
The 24C of Dan Ray and the 63A of Daniel Crump. The PG Hydraulics Group is the 4C of Mike Gooley. And as they roll up this race, the front row pole position goes to Parker. To the outside of him, Lane. Then Ray with Fox. That is a 4-lap sprint that's going to be on for all. Then we move through to the third row with Nicol and Corbett. Gooley and Hunter behind that pairing, and rounding us out, Mitchell and Crump. You're talking about passing cars. To be honest, keeping up with those first 2 rows is going to be
quite a mission. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I would expect it's a very drivey track. Don't want to preempt it, but I would suggest watch for something spectacular from Lane. He does drive it in deep here, so he will put it into turn 1. He's not going to give any room.
Got to convert your front row grids. You're only going to be on the front row once over the course of the heat racing, so you've got to convert that to maximum points, haven't you?
So batten down the hatches, race fans, as we come through Enviro Waste. We are side by side, Parker and Lane. It is on. New Zealand champs, we are a go. Lane gets on and Fox is right on the heels. Not going to let Brad, but Brad runs it in deep, runs it up very high on the wall. Fox has seen the inside line, Ray's following as well. They have gone. Watch Fox try and convert this. They get down into unmarked territory. The big push on the 11 car. Dan Ray sitting down low. It's a little bit greasy for the front 2 cars, but they're hanging on. Lane fires that thing in sideways from the pit gate. Fox seems to be able to have a car that's just a little bit looser. Watching Gooley come through. He's got through on the 22 car. He's now into 5th spot. First 2 cars just seem to be getting a little bit of a push through the driveway into the track, down the Enviroways. Lane fires in and Dan Ray. Dan Ray's picked this, he's just backing off the throttle a little bit, gets on it hard, and he's chasing Lane. Fox at the moment, if he just keeps his ears pinned back, he's got this one in the bag for maximum points. We look at Lane. Lane is under threat from Ray. Back to Parker, and Gooley is coming through in the 4 car. We move through with Hunter. The 18 car of Mitchell's up the inside of Corbett, very close down into 1. Back down to the other end of the track. And Fox's car just looks like it's got it's a wee bit tight for him now coming off 4. And you sense Lane has just changed the driving style. Just putting the car in a little early, but it still washes up out of 2. He's pulled a gap on the 24 car of Ray. This is what Fox has to do. He started on the front. Now this is costing Lane. He was on that front row too, and he has lost a spot to the 11 car. But Foxy there he's in the grasp of the 1NZ lane. Lane slides it down into Envirowaste. Almost a slide job on him. He gets underneath him. He's got the drive here. He's made the move. And the 1NZ takes over race lead. Fox is just having another look back. Reappraise. Do I commit to it? Go back. They have pulled away from the 24 car, I don't think any driver thought the track was going to be quite that greasy. We're getting into a bit of the back markers now. First car they're going to come up on is Evan Nicol. Lane has got to pick the speed of the 13 car. There's quite a difference between these 2. He goes to the outside and he'll get him under brakes, and he'll put almost like having a block car for him between him and Foxy. We cross the line once again. It is Brad Lane back to Jamie Fox, Dan Ray, Parker now being threatened by Mitchell. Mitchell's come through, and Mitchell's just going to hold the 18 car down low. He's got through, and we're going to go. No, I thought we'd gone yellow. We've gone very pedestrian down the front straight all of a sudden. And Mike Gurley's gone to the high line now. Mike doesn't like that high line. It's like watching a gazelle on an icy lake. Out in front though, our race leader's just peeling through these markers. He goes to the outside of the 22 car. It's a bit mushy up high, but he's going to get Corbett. Across the start finish line we go. Now, interestingly enough, the front three cars are almost going to be up on the back of the pack that's fighting for fourth.
Yeah,
so
it's a huge difference in pace.
Massive pace difference. Mitchell's got through on Parker, Gurley's got through on Parker. So Mitchell's the one who's done the best out of this race. He started off the back row and he's now running fourth. We look to the front though. White flag is out as our race leader. I've lost where he is. He's in the back markers. He's right on the back there of Hunter through Enviro Waste. It will be the one into the Brad Lane practice check-in. Jamie Fox will come through, but right on his heels, less than a car length, was the 24 of Dan Ray. And that was, race fans, Heat 1 of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champs. The front tyres were pushing, they weren't doing much for them, they were driving off the back. But certainly as that race went on, the 1, 2 and 3 cars, so the 1NZ, the 11A and the 24 car, there was a marked speed difference. Jacob Mitchell, the man who made the most of it, he started on the back row, he's come home in fourth, and he managed to get through on the likes of Parker and on Gurley, which was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. You would have thought that would have been a bit more of a battle.
Yeah, absolutely you would have. But there you go. Great first heat. As I say, all cars finished, no obvious damage, no issues, and that's got to be good for all of them. So big thank you to Garage 16 Media for sponsoring the New Zealand title tonight and tomorrow night. And of course to the Pits TV for live streaming out of Coke and Woodford Glen. And you can see some great images if you're watching the live stream at home around New Zealand or around the world. Welcome to Kaiapoi, welcome to Coke and Woodford Glen, and some pretty cool images there from the Pits TV. Absolutely. So that was our first heat. That was Coke Group versus PG Hydraulics Group. We will update you from time to time on points as we go through the night, but the points are kind of irrelevant until we get to midway through tomorrow night, when everyone's raced all their heats and has had all their front, middle and rear starts, because until then there's certain drivers who just get a natural advantage out of the format at any given time.
The first heat of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championships. You started off the front, you capitalised, you finished first. How does it feel to be back in the seat in the New Zealand Champs?
Yeah, no, it was good. Obviously, we struggled there at the start a little bit, with the track still being a little bit wet. Obviously, we could see that, but I obviously ran the car down a little bit low and sledged the front, and old Foxy got past, and I didn't think I'd reel him back in and get him, but, you know, I think we got to the grips to that particular track maybe a little bit faster than what the other competitors did, so managed to see where his weakness was, and we were able to capitalise on that. So car's feeling good, and obviously we're enjoying ourselves. First race out with a win, so we sort of had to do it from there, though, you know, on the front rows. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy so far.
Hey, listen, mate, I've been having a chat to Vince, and we want to have a race because I reckon it'll be heaps faster than that loser. How about you let me the 1NZ, dude?
Easy, Tiger. That's a bit of a beast for you to handle. I think I'm going to have to say no to that one.
All right, fair enough, brother. Cheers, mate. Steve, mate.
Hey, how you going?
Hey, look, you know, Vince, he reckons he'd be faster in a mod than me, so we're going to have a bit of a race, and I reckon you should lend me the 82C, mate. What do you reckon?
No, when hell freezes over, man.
Oh.
Ralph, mate, do you mind, I've got to go out and race Aaron, right? Because he reckons he's pretty hot, but I need a car in 99C. That's where it's out. Can I borrow it? What? No one's driving it? Oh, you are? Really? I don't want to drive your car anyway, mate. Jacob, mate. I need your car because I got to have a quick race against Aaron because he thinks he's awesome. But it's all good if I take out your car, eh? I mean, it's doing pretty well this season, so I just want the best, you know. It's all right, eh?
Nah, probably not. Oh, my car, sorry.
What's no, just like for like a couple laps.
Nah,
just
cussing this thing.
But like, I mean, I drive a Mitsubishi car, so I think I can handle this.
I don't think you will be able to.
No, I mean it's not hard.
You can probably ask someone else. Sorry.
I thought you were different, mate. I thought you were different, but I'm taking that with me.
Fair enough.
Nice to see you for the race. Guys, glad I caught you guys. Are we able to borrow your cars?
Yeah, because we've been having a discussion, and I reckon I'd be faster in a race than him. I know we're just TV guys.
He's too heavy, so I'll win.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll sort you out.
Well, you will?
We've got just the right.
Okay, see you soon.
So next modified heat is out on the track. This is heat 2, which is the Value Cars group versus the Anderton Decorators group. And do you want to run through the grids there?
Front row is the 11C car, good number, of Cassandra Massey. Then we have Bailey Patterson in the 5C, Steve Thompson the 54 GM in third, with Blair McPhee the 2NZ in the fourth spot. Next row will be the 69C of Andrew Naven, the 59C of Alan Haig. Watch this man, he's a dark horse. The 9C of Gary Lennon with Newton Gorge, the 21S beside him. Then the back row of the grid will be a very interesting pairing of the 82C of Steve Sinclair and Bunter Pierce in the 67S. So we are on 3-minute hooter at the moment. We're just waiting because the 69C car's pulled up at the gate. And Andrew Naven, the Edge Parts and Performance machine. You don't miss it. It looks like a road cone with big wheels and a wing.
So they're just circulating while the 69 car gets, well, who knows what it gets at, because there's no one actually doing anything as far as I can see to the car. They're just
looking at what they're doing there. It's almost like he's taken his helmet off.
Oh, it's a helmet change, is it?
Well, I guess this is where it gets really ambiguous because to be fair to some of these drivers, they do run fans and bits and pieces in the helmets, but
he looks as though he's going to pull to the infield rather than onto the track. So
his daughter took the helmet away over the pit gate. So, and he is the 69C. Looks like he's got no helmet on, so he's definitely not racing. Now that could have been a ventilation issue. That could be all sorts of different funny things. See at home and
all right. So Kinder's got the fairy dust sorted out there, and Cassandra Massey and Bailey Patterson off the front of this grid. But keep an eye on the second row. Blair McPhee and Stephen Thompson. They're going to make their move very quickly. We are green. We are racing, and Bailey Patterson leads away. McPhee.
Got a wheel off.
Stephen Thompson lost a wheel there.
Yeah, we're going to go yellow, so that might explain why Stephen Thompson didn't take off, but he's freaking fortunate he didn't launch. He is in the wall there. He's lost the right rear, but I guess... I
didn't see any particular contact there that would suggest that was a result of contact. I just wonder if it was...
I just think it's just come
not
off.
Attached.
Well, watch it. He's made contact with Haig, and then, wow, it dug in. It dug in bad. Actually, hitting the wall seems like the lesser of all the evils out of that.
Yes, I think it could have ended a lot worse for Stephen Thompson.
I wouldn't be surprised to find this still a fair bit of the hub still attached to that rim when they get to it. He's made contact with Haig. Haig's gone for a heck of a ride out of all that. Bounced around, So, sorry, Ellen, you can blame us for talking about you for that one. But as you watched it, it was just so close for him to go over. You see the tyre bounce. The car bounces at the left-hand side. It's a good metre off the ground. And to be fair, driving it into the wall was probably the lesser of all the evils.
Yeah, could easily have ended up on its lid.
As we watch the replay again at our end, moves up, a little bit of contact with Haig, but not enough that you would lose a wheel.
No, that's what I thought.
So, but Gary Lennon ploughed into the back of Haig too out of all of that. I think Haig knew what was going on, and he was just in a horrible spot. As we look,
so Lennon's car.
No, the centre hub was still, most of it's still attached to the axle. So it's actually shattered the centre. It's the joys of being at the back end of the season doing a title. The cars have done all the hard work. And Tyler Thompson, very fortunate he's not having to put a new wing on that car when he gets it back in the pits. As the pack heads through. Yeah, you can see it's broken all the splines off the hub. In fact, very little damage other than a whole bunch of mud shoved up the axle tube.
The second row, the 2NZ car, Blair McPhee, on his own now. A gap in the third row where those cars were. And then we've got Newton Gorge, Stephen Sinclair and Bunter Pearce in the 67 at the back of the field. Maybe not for too long.
In essence, you have an entire row missing from the middle of that, and that's going to be the hardest thing. But
so we're green and racing again, and again Bailey Patterson gets the jump on Cassandra Massey, and Blair McPhee follows him in with the 2NZ, and I think it's only a matter of time, yep, there it goes, before Blair McPhee gets his nose in front. Stephen Sinclair's holding on to third at the moment. Newton Gorge is coming through strong behind him, and Bunter Pearce just lifting the front wheels a little bit there out of turn 4. And Cassandra Massey now at the back of the field. The 2NZ of McPhee holding a reasonable lead there. Bailey Patterson doing a pretty good job holding on to second place at the moment, but coming into the clutches of the 82 machine of Steve Sinclair. And you get the feeling Sinclair, you can see the push on Patterson's car, and Sinclair takes advantage there and whips in front to take over second place. Newton Gorge will be noticing that as well and looking to make the pass next time round, I'm sure. And Bunter Pearce, for the time being, just sitting back and watching everything unfold in front of him. Not sure if he's got the right setup for this track. Just looking at the way that car coming out of turn 2 there does not seem to hook up, and he's looks very tight through 3 and 4. But Blair McPhee, he's got a good setup. His car's fair humming along there. Steve Sinclair starting to eat into his lead a little bit, I think, and I doubt we'll see a pass before the end of the race, but Stephen Sinclair is going to catch McPhee and make life a little bit difficult for him. Bailey Patterson coming into the clutches of Newton Gorge now, and Bunter Pearce, the track's starting to come a little bit more to where he wants it to be, I think, and he's picking up a bit of pace. Out of the back of the field, Cassandra Massey in the 11 car. It's another lap down, and Blair McPhee has got 3 or 4 or 5 car lengths over the 82 of Sinclair. A long way back to the third place of Patterson. The 21 of Gorge, under braking through 3 and 4, takes the place. Nice little slide job pass there, and Bunter Pearce will have seen that too and be thinking, right, I'm going to try and get past this 5 car next time round. All the while, Steve Sinclair is closing on Blair McPhee. Will he be able to do enough to make a pass before the end of the race? I'm just not sure. He just doesn't have the drive out of 2. He seems to be able to handle 3 and 4 better and close up on McPhee coming out of 4. But he doesn't have the drive out of 1 and 2 that he'd need to put a pass on McPhee, I don't think. Newton Gorge settling into a solid third place now, and Bunter Pearce following him too has also got past the 5 of Patterson. So not exactly a lot going on the track at the moment with just 6 cars there. McPhee holding off Steve Sinclair for the time being. White flag's going to come out next time round. Here we go, Brian waves the white. So Blair McPhee, just 1 lap to go to bring it home. Steve Sinclair have a solid second place there. Newton Gorge quite a long way back in third, and Bunter Pearce just not really able to get on the back of Gorge. So Chequered comes out now. There's your race win, the 2NZ of Blair McPhee from the 82 of Stephen Sinclair. A bit of a wait, and there's the 21 of Newton Gorge taking third.
Sinclair very, very keen on the restart, but he capitalised. out in front, McPhee could do no more. He everything sort of opened up for him and just carried on through with the 2NZ. Of course, it is heat 1 for this group of drivers, as a few of these drivers are going to be going back to the pits and doing a little bit of soul searching. But McPhee, beautiful in there. He did what he had to. If it had been a few more laps, it would have been interesting to see whether Sinclair could have done anything.
Absolutely. And McPhee started in the second row, finished first, but Sinclair started off the back row and finished second. So that's good progress for him.
Okay, we have got the 2NZ Blair McPhee here. That's a pretty positive start to the evening, mate.
Yeah, no, I definitely can't complain with that start. Just wanted to really, try and finish as far up as you can, really, and just collect the points and make it, all benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously flying the flag for Wellington down here, obviously with your dad not able to be here and Damon and Jonas having all the complications that they had. But you guys are pretty good about going on with your race meeting and just getting the job done.
Yeah, that's the plan. Hey, you just got to keep trucking away, and hey, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't happen, then it's all bad, really, isn't it? But hey, we'll just fly the flag for Wellington this weekend, and we'll see what the outcome is.
Sweet. Now, I've tried to talk to you about the track conditions in the past and made some assumptions, and generally I'm wrong.
She's quite drivey out there and stuff, so you reckon, or is she more slick? What's your thoughts?
Oh, I don't know what track you're watching. There's no drive out there, mate. It's slick as, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the track without my suggestions first.
The track's just actually is a little bit heavy coming out of 3 and 4, but turn 1 and 2 starting to just come right, I think. I think probably by the last round it'll start slicking up quite well. But it's quite drivey out there at the moment. So you're probably thinking right this time.
Sweet, that's not too bad. Excellent. I'm starting to learn how to do my job better. So no, that's great. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us, and all the best for the rest of your heats this evening.
Thank you. No worries, guys. Thank you.